تقول علينا بعض الأقاويل لأخذنا منه باليمين ثم لقطعنا منه الوتين. That, O Muhammad, if you tamper with this Quran, meaning if you took something away, or you concealed something, or you added something to this Quran, you what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the Prophet, لَقَطَعْنَا مِنْهُ بِالْيَمِينِ, that we would have cut your jugular, your aorta, causing you immediate death. And so again, for our belief as Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, we believe that the Prophet ﷺ revealed or conveyed everything that was revealed to the Prophet ﷺ to his companions. And there is nothing concealed. Like again, other sects believe that only their imams have the full Quran. That is a statement of kufr, that is disbelief. If anyone believes that there is a word or a letter missing from the Quran or that it should be added, then that will take it out of the fold of Islam. So the Prophet ﷺ transmitted or told his Sahaba this Quran. And how did he teach them? He taught them in their different dialects, the way they spoke. So one Sahabi came from a certain tribe, the Prophet ﷺ would teach him in that particular manner. And someone else comes, the Prophet ﷺ would teach him in that particular manner. And this is illustrated in the famous event that took place in Medina. When one morning Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu came to the Masjid for Fajr, and Ihsan David was leading the Fajr Salah, reading from Surah Al-Furqan. And Sayyidina Umar, knowing the Surah, noticed that Ihsan is reading quite different from the way the Prophet taught him. And of course, we know the temperament of Sayyidina Umar. We know that he had a temper. So Sayyidina Umar said he wanted to jump out of the Salah and grab Ihsan. But he contained himself until the end of the Salah. When the Salah completed, he went to Ihsan and he asked Ihsan, where did you get this from? Ihsan said, from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sayyidina Umar said, that is a lie, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught this surah to me. It's unlike the way you recite it. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Umar literally dragged Ihsan by the neck to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When they came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they explained the situation. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam turned to Ihsan and he said, "Iqra ya Ihsan." Ihsan read. So Ihsan started reading exactly how he read in the Fajr Salah. Upon completion, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Ihsan, كَذَلِكَ أُنزِلَتْ. Just like that, we recited the Quran was revealed. And then he turned to Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, and he said to Sayyidina Umar, "Iqra ya Umar." And so Sayyidina Umar read, of course, different to what Ihsan read. And when he completed, the Prophet ﷺ said, كَذَلِكَ أُنزِلَتْ. Just like that, the way we recited, the Quran was revealed. The Quran was revealed in Sab'i Ahruf. The Quran was revealed in 7 dialects. And so this gives us the indication that there were different recitations at the time. Just fast forward a little, in the time of Sayyidina Uthman, when the Quran was gathered, Sayyidina Umar or Sayyidina Uthman, what he did was when he prepared a standard copy of the Quran. And he made few copies, and with each copy, he sent a teacher to the various cities to teach the people the recitation of the Quran. And so we find that in Makkah, the recitation of Ibn Kathir became prevalent. So what happened is, it's not the recitation of Ibn Kathir, but Ibn Kathir, these were people that sacrificed their lives in learning and teaching the Quran. How they got it from the Sahaba and how the Sahaba got it from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when someone would come to any Sahabi, they would ask him, which recitation do you read? And they would say, I read according to the recitation or Qira'ah Ibn Kathir. So Ibn Kathir became prevalent in Makkah. Also, so if someone had to go to Makkah at this time, most probably this is what he would have learned. And we find that the great scholar, the Imam of our madhab, the Shafi'i madhab, Imam Shafi'i, when he came from Palestine, from Gaza to learn Quran in Makkah, this was the Qira'ah that he memorized. He memorized the Qira'ah Ibn Kathir. So if you want to call yourself a true Shafi'i scholar, then you must learn the Qira'ah Ibn Kathir. So this was prevalent. This is what they recited in the Haram of Makkah. In Medina, the Qira'ah Nafi' in Abu Ja'far was prevalent there. This is what they recited there. And the Imam after the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the Masjid of Medina was Imam Malik. And Imam Malik was asked, what Qira'ah is suited to recite? So he said that the Qira'ah Nafi'. So Imam Nafi' was the scholar, was the teacher of Quran at the time in the Masjid of Medina. So this was the narration or the Qira'ah in Medina. In Kufa, the Qira'ah of Abu Amr and Yaqub was prevalent there. In Basra, rather, and in Kufa, the Qira'ah of Hamza, Kisai, and Asim, and Khalaf al-Ashir. And then in Sham, in Syria area, was the Qira'ah of Ibn Amr. So we find that there are 10 Qira'ah, or 10 Imams that sacrifice their lives in teaching the Quran. So we have 10 Qira'ah, and then each Qira'ah has 2 narrators, which gives us 20 narrations. So there are 20 narrations. How did it come that we have today 80% of the world we recite the riwayah of Hafs? If you look at the Northern African area, in Northern Africa, we find that the official narration there is watched. Even if you go today, the official narration is watched. So how did watch spread to North Africa, which is the Moroccan area, Mauritania, Senegal, Tunis, etc. So what happened when the governor of Morocco came to Medina for Hajj and for Umrah? He met the great scholar Imam Malik, and he was so overwhelmed and amazed at the teachings and the knowledge of Imam Malik that he adopted the Maliki madhab. Not only did he adopt the Maliki madhab, but he adopted the recitation of Imam Malik, which was the narration of Warsh. And that is how Warsh became prevalent in the northern African area. In the central area, which is Sudan, the Somali, so the Somali brothers will know that even today, the narration of Duri Abi Amr is recited there. In Libya, the official recitation is, or qira'ah is, that of Qalun. And in some parts of Yemen still today, we find the qira'ah of Ibn Kathir. So how did it come that 80% of the world we read to the Hafs, when all these narrations was recited at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and even after the time of the Prophet ﷺ. And it is sunnah to read each of these narrations. It is sunnah, and so the Prophet ﷺ speaks highly of someone that revives his sunnah. So we need to revive the sunnah. So what happened was, like I said, like in the case of Morocco, it was the governor that was instrumental. How did Hafs spread over 80% of the world? It's because of when the Ottoman Empire reigned, they reigned for about 800 years, they adopted the Hanafi madhab. And Imam Abu Hanifa, we find, was the contemporary of Imam Asim, which was the teacher of Hafs. And in this manner, then these people recited what we call Hafs, and this is how wherever they went, it spread out. So it spread down to the east, which is our Malaysia, Indonesian area, and of course, this is where our ancestors hail from. So when they came to Cape Town, and this is how we also adopted that, and we also did Hafs. But if somebody else came maybe from before that, maybe from Sudan, they was probably we would have recited something else. So this is how it's split out. But as I said, the Nabi Sallallahu speaks about that iqra'u kama ullimtum, that we should read the Quran as you have been taught. So reading this or this different qira'at is sunnah muttaba'a. It's a sunnah that needs to be followed, and we need to revive it. And whoever revives the sunnah, says the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, for that person, he will get the reward, and if he teach someone else, as long as these people do this sunnah, they will get this reward. So we find that how many qira'at again? 10 qira'at. So each qira'at has 2 narrators, gives us how many narrations? 20 narrations. So 20 narrations. So just imagine if you wanted to study the science. You want to study this 10 qira'at, with 20 narrations. It means you have to sit with a sheg and read numerous khatams. One khatam Hafs, come back, read another khatam in Warsh, another khatam in Qalun, etc., etc. So it will take a very long time with you, with the sheg. So at the end of the 2nd century, beginning of the 3rd century, what scholars did was they started joining this qira'at. Meaning, instead of reading one lot of khatams or numerous khatams, you could read one khatam, joining all those qira'at. And this can only be done now by sitting with a qualified teacher, studying the usul, studying the principles of his various qira'at. Once you're able to do that, then you can join this qira'at and read it in one khatam. And there are rules pertaining that you cannot mix up qira'at, you cannot, your qira'at cannot be mixed up, and you cannot mix qira'at when you read in salah. When you read in salah, you have to stick to one riwayah. You either stick to Hafs, or you stick to Warsh, or whatever riwayah you want to read. It's very important also that this qira'at, it has an implication on our lives. It has an implication. How does it implicate in our lives? So we find that, for example, that we read according to Hafs, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin. There are other qira'at that reads Malik Yawmiddin. Instead of reading Malik Yawmiddin, they read Malik Yawmiddin. So the Quran was revealed with Malik Yawmiddin, it was revealed with Malik Yawmiddin. Both ways the Quran was revealed to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So how does it implicate in the meaning? So we find hundreds of variations in the Quran where words differ like this. But in the same breath, unlike many biblical scholars or Christian scholars, they want to say that we have different Qurans, we have different Qurans with different verses of the Quran. But what we can say is, with all these different variations and hundreds of variations in the Quran, there is not one contradiction. It either makes the meaning clearer or it enhances the meaning. So if you look at the word Malik Yawmiddin and Malik Yawmiddin. Malik means master or owner. So Malik Yawmiddin, owner of the day of judgment, or master of the day of judgment. Malik Yawmiddin, Malik means king, the king of the day of judgment. So we see how the meaning is enhanced by the one word. In other cases, we find that the qira'ah can have an implication on legal rulings, on ahkam. So if you look at, for example, those who study a little bit of elementary Arabic will appreciate this. If you study the ayah of the wudu, of the abdas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, idha kumtum ila salati fagsilu wujuhakum wa aydiyakum ila al-marafiqi wamsahu bi ru'usikum wa arjulakum ila al-ka'bayn. So we have cases here. So whenever, so we have, first of all, we have an imperative verb, wash. Fagsilu wujuhakum, wash your faces. So the cases here is fatha or a. So all those words that have a will follow on the imperative verb wash. Okay, so ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha kuntum ila salati fagsilu wujuhakum. It's a fatha a, so it will follow wash. Wa aydiyakum ila marafiqi, and your arms up to your elbows. It follow under the imperative verb wash. Ila marafiq. Wamsahu bi ru'usikum. Those that follow on the case, what we call the kasra, this will follow on wipe. Wamsahu bi ru'usikum, and so wipe. What should be wipe? Bi ru'usikum, your forehead. Okay? Wa arjulakum, and in the end there is an a again, so that I will refer to which verb? To wash. Okay, so the a refers to wash, the e refers to wipe. So it means wipe your face, or you mean wash your face, wash your hands, your elbows, wipe your forehead, and then wash your feet. There are other qira'at that reads, وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ. So now your feet follows the verb of wipe, meaning and wipe your feet. So here we find that in the first case, you have to wash your feet. So this will refer to what? To the normal abdas that we take. Okay? In the second case, if you take the reading, وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ, and then wipe your feet, it will refer to what? It will refer to when you wear a khuf. When you wear a khuf, you have to wipe over you don't wash your khuf. You wipe over it. Okay? And so in this one ayah, we see the miraculous nature. In one ayah, one verse, there are two legal rulings. Two legal rulings, two ahkam. And so when we study this Quran from this dimension, we see the miraculous nature also of the Quran. There are many numerous examples. We don't have the time for them. Inshallah, the narrative, inshallah. We can go into that, inshallah. So, I think I'm going to stop there, Sheikh, and then I'll do a short revision, inshallah. Our qira'at is read together. We will study together in our sounds, inshallah. And after that, inshallah, we will have a few minutes for those people who have some questions, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد 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 ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر النافثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد حاسد إذا حسد حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس قل أعوذ برب الناس قل أعوذ برب الناس قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس ملك الناس إله الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس صدور الناس من الجنة والناس من الجنة والناس. صدق الله العظيم. Yes, we're going over a few minutes of Q&A. If any of us need some clarity or want to ask anything related to the Qur'an or to the Quran, inshallah, we will attempt to answer. What else?
Anybody wants to ask questions, inshallah, by home? May ask. Just some clarity on the vowels of the Quran, because these vowels were added by Sayyidina Uthman in the family of the Quran, and also by other Sahaba, like these Sahaba. So what can you maybe just shed some light on why this was changed and when it happened, inshallah?
Yes, so excellent question. For this actually, you need to have a Musaf or a Quran in front of you for me to explain it. Okay? So you can go and check this out. If you look at the word Malik Yawmiddin, okay? So in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, there were no diacritical marks, there were no vowels, there were no a, I, or shaddas. Okay, it was this the skeleton. So what is the skeleton? Okay, so if you look at the word Malik Yawmiddin, we go out inshallah, open up and look at Malik Yawmiddin, take away all your diacritical marks. take away your up, take away your in, all that away. And then we have your skeleton or your teeth. What do we have left? What do we have left? We have
The letters.
Mim, Lam, and Kaf. There's no extra pull. There's no extra alif, Ma. So that type of writing, that is what we call Rasam Uthmani. That is the Quranic script. How it was written down in the time of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, and in this, so later on, we had those qira'at that read Maliki Yawmiddin, and then we had those qira'at that read Maliki Yawmiddin. Okay? So, to facilitate these different readings, scholars came later and they came with these marks to show that you should pull here, and so they brought down those critical marks. Again, here, even in the writing of the Quran, there is a miraculous nature. By writing it, Maliki Yawmiddin, it incorporates both readings. Meaning, you can read Maliki Yawmiddin and you can read Maliki Yawmiddin. But if it was written with the alif, it was written with Maliki Yawmiddin, then you couldn't read Maliki Yawmiddin. Right, so we find that many examples in the Quran where we find that there's one type of script incorporates all those 20 narrations that we find. All those 10 qira'at in this one type of script. So the diacritical marks came on later for people that had to accept according to the recitation or narration. Yes, so
My understanding that Catholic straightened out the law is the meaning still remaining the same. If you say Maliki Yawmiddin, that the meaning is still the same word.
yeah, so as I mentioned, there is no contradiction. What happens here is there's no contradiction. Either one word will make the meaning more clear or it will enhance the meaning. But there will never be a contradiction. Okay? For example, another example, in Surah Al-Hujurat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. So this is the thing when someone comes to news with you, that you have to ascertain if the news is true. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you believe, in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyanu. Then you have to make clear, you have to ascertain is this news true. There's another way of reciting, in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatathabbatu. So now, fatathabbatu and fatabayyanu. If you study the Arabic language and you see that fatathabbatu means establish. In the one, you have to make clear, ascertain is the news true that someone telling you. In the other narration, fatathabbatu, you have to establish, is this true that this guy is saying? Okay, so again here, the one meaning enhances the other meaning, or it makes the meaning more clear. So then, it is important for every person that makes tafsir, the mufassir, that they has to have knowledge of the Quran. Okay? And as well as the faqih, the person that deals with legal matters, jurisprudence, that he also needs to have some knowledge of the different Quran. So, with all this, as I mentioned, with all those different variations, there is no one contradiction in the Quran.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Sheikh, you mentioned at the start that there were, at the time of the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there were 7 dialects. And why is it 10 qira'ah? Is the a dialect that has more than one qira'ah?
Okay, excellent question. Excellent question, which Needs about 3 weeks to answer. Okay, so the question was, I mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that there are 7 dialects, okay? So what I use here, I use the word dialects, because there is not a proper translation for the word harf. The word is actually harf. Saba'i ahruf. The word is saba'i or saba'a ahruf. 7 ahruf. So in many cases, people don't translate it. What is an ahruf? So the Prophet ﷺ, when Jibreel ﷺ came the first time and read to the Prophet ﷺ, the Quran, the Prophet ﷺ took in consideration his ummah. So he complained to Jibreel ﷺ and said, I fear for my ummah, meaning they have different dialects. They are the elderly, they are the frail, they are the young, they are the illiterate. So the Nabi ﷺ complained to Jibreel that my ummah will find this difficult. So Jibreel ﷺ went away, he came back and he recited in another harf. Okay, so just we use the word harf, I want to translate it to the dialect here. Again the Prophet ﷺ, he complained, and Jibreel ﷺ went away, came back, read it in another harf. Again the Prophet ﷺ complained, my ummah will find this difficult. And the 4th time when he came back, Jibreel ﷺ read the Quran in Sab'a ahruf, in 7 ahruf. So what is ahruf? Imam Shuyuti in his book, Ihsan, he mentions 40 opinions of what ahruf is. 40 opinions. So the Sahabas, they understood what was ahruf. And so it wasn't necessary for them to ask the Prophet ﷺ what is ahruf. They understood it. So there is no text or no recording where you find that the Sahabas asked the Prophet ﷺ what is ahruf. So they understood it. And unfortunately, the scholars, they have different opinions of it. So the ahruf is not the 10 qira'at, but the 10 qira'at is part of the ahruf, of the 7 ahruf. Okay? So what happened was, so when they, with Sayyidina Uthman, when they, I don't want to say the word compiled, but they gathered the Quran into one standard copy. Okay? And we find that the scribes are different. They're different because he got it like that from the Prophet, he got it like that from the Prophet, he got it like that from the Prophet. So Sayyidina Uthman says that whenever you differ, then write it according to the Quraysh dialect. Okay? So there was a confusion. In the beginning there was a confusion. Because if you study the Qur'an, many people refer to the Shafiriyah as a text where the 7 Qur'an has been compiled in. So people thought that those 7 Qur'an are the 7 ahruf. But actually there are 10 Qur'an. The great scholar Ibn Jazari in the 7th century, when he came and showed that there are actually 10 Qur'an. And it's not the Sab'a ahruf. So the 10 Qur'an is part of the Sab'a ahruf. Okay? That was there. But all of the Quran is contained in this, in every narration there, all the Quran is in there. I don't know if that answers the question.
The same word, nas and mas, does it have the same meaning, or is it just a way of saying it?
Just a way of saying it, yes. That's the way they pronounce it. Like in Cape Town, we say certain words, we go to Jehovah, and it's the same word, but they pronounce it differently.
For the different qira'at, do they use a different mushaf? Well, in the one that we use, we have the mud on Maliki only. So they say Maliki, do they just have a shortened up?
Yeah, as I said, that if you take the skeleton, facilitate all readings. The skeleton. So later on scholars, according to the different riwayas, they brought out those marks. Okay? So today, alhamdulillah, you will find a musaf that is according to Welsh, and you will find a musaf that is according to Guru. Yeah. But earlier, there was only one musaf without different marks. So you rely on the teacher. Okay, the teacher, how the teacher decided to you. Silatul Latif, Fadl.
The other night I was explaining to the Jama'ah Surah Tawbah, and we did a basmala in Surah Tawbah because Rasulullah didn't instruct Sahaba with the basmala. Was that the accurate answer?
Correct, yes. Yeah. So Surah Tawbah wasn't revealed with the basmala in the beginning. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was addressing the kuffar. So he didn't want to address them with his message. So the Surah Tawbah was not revealed with the basmala. So when you start with Surah Tawbah, you don't read Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Je hebt obviously applied to the rest of the surah or something?
Okay. So there's a little technicality here. Okay. So the implication here is, the question is, so that will apply right through the surah of Surah Tawbah, that you don't read the basmala. No, the basmala was not revealed at the beginning of the surah. Okay, so the equipment that the Jama'ah can take home is the basmala is always recited at the beginning of the surah. It is an indication of the beginning of the surah. Okay, so at the beginning of Surah Tawbah, the basmala is not recited. From the second ayah, or in the middle of Surah Tawbah, if you start the recitation then you can start the recitation like you start anywhere else in the Quran. You can start with the isti'adah and with the basmala, with the sunnah, or you can leave the basmala also. So, a point is at the beginning of the surah and the beginning of the surah.
So alhamdulillah, last time we were fortunate. Sheikh timing for this lecture is actually perfect, alhamdulillah. So last time when we were ending off Tarawih, after Tawbah, there was a bit of a taste of Warsh and Sa'i also, and Half and Hamza. But every week, alhamdulillah.
So you are actually very lucky because it's only a very few verses that allows us different narrations in the Salah. Inshallah, we need to encourage, more masajid, to do this.
And we'll check the copy of Tom Guru right here. And that's also on Hafs. The Hafs Riwayah.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And it's reported that you made about 6 mistakes from the memory. Is it accurate?
Okay, so this isn't by way of mouth. This is our Sheikh Ismail has informed me, the Sheikh Al-Bari informed me that if you look at the Musaf of Tuan, so you can go to the Awal Masjid, in the side there, there's a cabinet, so the Quran is there, you can have a look at it. The actual Quran with Tuan is there. So Sheikh Ismail tells me that you see the harakat on there, the vowels on there. He says that Tuan Guru actually did not write it with vowels. Someone else came later and put vowels on. And if you look closely, you see it's a different kind of ink that was used, and that is where those errors came in.
Just to clarify, Toe ang broer hou 3 copies.
Okay.
And I actually saw both. I saw 2 of it. The half copy that what I haven't seen that one. The keep copy, I've seen that one, and the one in the Owa Mosque, I've seen that one. You can see even I went carefully through the keep copy. He makes mistakes. Later on you will see he makes the mistake, fixes the mistake, and he writes it on the side. There's a few places in there. Because I read through it and I said, what is your mistake? After asking you, you want to come to reply, making a mistake, right? But I remember I was sitting in Sheikh's class once, and Sheikh said he would really be interested to see if the words is actually written according to the Uthman, you get the Uthman. But
The manuscript is.
yes, but the Oval Mosque one you don't have access to. But there is another one actually, another one.
Yeah, so the Oval Masjid, is when they scanned it. They scanned it, so it's available now, inshallah.
Oh.
Study.
Does anybody have any other questions? You say once the demonstration started to talk, is yes,
MashaAllah, yes.
This very, very shy.
Yeah. I know, I call it Sheikh Wash.
Sheikh one, yeah.
Yeah, I call it Sheikh Wash. Yes. He has memorized the Riwayah of Wash. David, very well.
Inshallah.
There's one good.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ويل لكل همزة لمزة الذي جمع مالا وعدده يحسب أن ماله أخلده كلا لينبذن في الحطمة وما أدريك ما الحطمة نار الله الموقدة التي تطلع على الأفئدة إنها عليهم موصدة في عمر ممددة صدق الله العظيم.
So call that one of those youngsters. If we need more, inshallah. There's involved in this journey to study the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for you.
Yeah, so we must be, like we did now, let's take some taking and then put it
Yes, yeah. Like just like some of the sunnahs died out. So with the Quran they also have, and we need people, that there's this bigger, to study this science. Otherwise it will die out.
So inshallah. Does anybody have any questions? I think we're going to keep Sheikh here till book time, inshallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, shukran for everybody for coming. As you can see, the way outside is not yet cooked in the Sundarah. But alhamdulillah, like I always say, when you find yourself in the masjid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained that you must be here. So may Allah bless all of you that came out and prayed with it and accepted the beneficial knowledge. Like as humble as all, Sheikh is as humble as all. And just one day, the first time I got to Egypt, so Sheikh had to finish his ijazah for Qayyim. Yeah, it's the first time I met him. I saw Qayyim in Sheikh, the real life in front of him. It's the first time I came to meet actually. Yeah, so we were there that time and Sheikh received this ijazah for Qayyim. And Dr. Ibn Subhanallah is one of the leading scholars of Quranic studies globally. And he doesn't stop there. Every year there is international qira'ah, and the judge of these qira'ah has been nominated by a previous judge. And that person goes globally. And the person who was nominated to go globally to be a Quranic judge, sitting right here. This is alhamdulillah, this is the barakah, the talent that came from us to offer. But like Sheikh says, the revival of this must come. We must do it ourselves also. We must honor and respect what we have. And I always say, Sheikh Abdul Mansur again, we will come to this masjid or any other masjid, we will be treated like a normal person. I just say, Sheikh is here, greet him, make a joke. But you take that same man to Turkey. If you take that same Abdul Mansur into Turkey, subhanAllah, it's like a movie star or a rock star or sports personalities walking into a building. That's how they honor that man. And inshallah, Sheikh, the Jama'at knows that this is our journey, inshallah, for 2024 is the revival of the Quran, inshallah, in this masjid. Myself and Talha and other three of the Hafiz, we have come together. And inshallah, from this day starting, we will be starting the Masjidur Rasheed, starting Jama'at, inshallah. And Quran studies, it goes along with that, inshallah. So, Jama'at, we've got good things planned for us this year. And we have the caliber of Sheikh Ihsan coming, Hafiz Talha, and many other Quranic scholars will still come, inshallah, to Masjidur Rasheed. We will only be benefiting them. But we also subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us focused, to keep us sincere, and to do barakah in our time, inshallah, and to Quran, that we do everything, all the studies that we do, that we're going to do, inshallah, and all the projects that we're going to take, we do it solely for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? But it must be ikhlas at all time. And then children will barakah. We say shukran to Sheikh for coming, ويبارك فيك ويزيدك ويفتح كل الابواب الخيرات الحسنه ان شاء الله. امين رب العالمين. And we hope to see you again, inshallah. Soon, because this is only like a, this is the type of high school. This is the I can tell you that when my son used to say, they used to read the book of Al-Fatih, Sheikh, and then Sheikh to those off, and make a mistake, they didn't sleep, Sheikh, at the fires. I mean, that is, how that whichever that comes, they will do this. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep Sheikh many years.
Amen.
And all the students that Sheikh has taught, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, add in the heart of Sheikh Hassan, and that's what we understand of the Qiyamah. Ameen, ameen. سبحان الله وبحمده أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.